the CEO and chairman of 4Kids Entertainment. The name, the force behind some of the brands, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and their new brand, Chaotic. Al, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Tell us about those three brands and what's going on.
Well, Pokemon, of course, was the first really successful manga brand from Japan that we brought in about 10 years ago. And obviously, people in Japan didn't think necessarily it was going to work. But when we introduced it, it became obviously a tremendous hit and really helped spur on the manga attack from Japan. Secondly, we brought in Yu-Gi-Oh, which was also, and is still, a very, very successful brand. And obviously, is one that played off of that success of Pokemon. A couple of years ago, we noticed that there was a game in Denmark called Chaotic, which was different than all the games we had seen before because it had an online component where the cards were actually coded, and the actual codes of each card could be uploaded to the web, and you actually play the game online with anybody you wanted to, besides playing the game in person. So we were very, very excited about that, and we've been developing that for about 3 years.
To touch on Pokemon, you mentioned to me earlier that you lost Pokemon about 2 years ago. What happened there?
Well, I think what happened is that the ownership in Japan felt that they wanted it back after it became very, very successful. And even though we thought, very, very significantly strengthened contracts, it became apparent that we would be our best interest at some point to have to give it back, which we did give. And that, of course, cost us a tremendous amount of revenues and put the company into we would, at the height of it, we were doing probably $80 or $90 million in our share of Pokemon revenues. So we had to replace that, basically.
Any risk with Chaotic?
Actually, we learned a lesson. In Chaotic, we actually bought the rights from the Danish company, so we're actually now the owners of the copyrights and the underlying gameplay.
What's going on in the U.S. market specifically? Tell me about the growth rates.
Well, I think in the manga area, certainly there are two distinct markets. There is a children's market, which ranks from, let's say, 7 to 9, and then there's I call it teenage market from 9 to 14. In Japan, there's a negative birth rate. That means there are more people dying than are being born. So all the animation companies, all the manga companies are developing older manga, more sexual, more violent, and not doing as much for the younger children because of the negative birth rate. So that's transpires to the United States, where the manga is growing exponentially, amongst older kids, but is not growing as much amongst younger kids.
So you have massive growth in the U.S. Tell me about the stock price. I've noticed we talked a little bit. You had some major growth years. The last 2 years have been a little bit shaky.
We're very, very poor. We lost money the last 2 years, predominantly because we have to reload our arsenal. Pokemon lost the reduction of reduction of Yu-Gi-Oh royalties. We've had to relaunch a number of new brands, and of course, Chaotic, we expect to make up a lot of the shortfalls that we've had in the last couple of years.
Quickly, what's next for 4Kids Entertainment?
Well, we're the largest broadcaster of children's programming in the U.S. on non-cable outlets. We program the 4 hours on Fox every Saturday morning. In September, we'll program 5 hours on the CW network starting in September. And we've obviously looking for more and more exciting new things. We're bringing in, I think, a very exciting property from Eastern Europe. The first time I think an Eastern European property has been brought into the States that we think is going to have tremendous... From Russia.
From Russia. Speak Russian?
Not yet.
Peter, I'm going to send it back to you. But before I go, I got to show you a couple of these cards. The names of these. Melody of the Meek, a very scary Arcanine, and my favorite, given what's going on in the oil prices, Elemental Denial.